Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Bold Women's Table. They're me and my friend Jase and Vicki. We 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 ask each other's questions on different topics every month, and basically, this Bold Women's Table is us living boldly, aging wisely, and manifesting intentionally. Now, before we get into today's topic, I would like to know if my friend Jazz and Vicky could tell you a bit about their channels, a bit about them. Do you guys want to start? Who's going to go first?
Sure, I can go first. So, hi, I'm Vicki, and my channel is Aging on Your Terms. And on that channel, I share my family's stories about things that happen when they didn't plan for aging. No wills, no talking to their kids about what they wanted, no putting grab bars in the house to motivate you to plan for the life you want to live as you age. Because if you leave it to chance, some of the things that happen to my family might happen to you.
Okay. Hi everybody, I'm Jase from Jazz Nova TV. On my channel, I talk about traveling. I talk about living boldly, and that life doesn't stop at 50. It starts there, After 50, we're living our best life. We're more true and understand ourselves better. We're authentic. Eh? We are authentic. And so, yeah, that's what my channel is all about.
And for me, hi everybody, I'm Kimberly. And if you're new to my channel, I basically share my life. The good, the bad, the ugly experiences that I had. And I also share the things I manifested in life and, anything that I'm going through currently that I think that can help my viewers, I share. So I share me. My channel's about me. And that's it. All right. So today we are going to talk about starting over isn't failure, it's power. And how these conversations go. I'll start off with asking a question, and then both Jazz and Vicky will ask questions individually as well, and we will have our discussion. So feel free to join in the comments if you hear us say anything, or if one of the questions that are asked that you want to answer. The comments is free to interact with us, and we do respond to every comment. So let me start with my first question. What made you realize it's time to start over, even when it felt scary, uncertain, or uncomfortable?
Whew.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't have a specific answer, but I can start because there's so many times, because life, we kind of growing, evolving all the time, isn't it? And we kind of have to start over many times. As somebody who has moved a lot places, you kind of start over all the time, right? Um, wow, that's an excellent question. Even when it felt scary and comfortable and okay and certain. I mean, I would come back to something that I shared before on the channel, on that on the show here. When we had to sell our house, when we were about to sell our house, it was the most uncertain thing to do because we've been here for 23 years and certainly we have to move and the clutter because 23 years in a house you have so much. And but although it felt so scary and comfortable to start over and in a new city because we live south, right, and we didn't need to go up north, but I also knew that it was time to do it because the south was so expensive and at the time my husband was not working and all of that. And although it was difficult and uncertain, I knew it was the right time to start over. Would be starting over mortgage, not having a mortgage, etc., etc. Things didn't fall, did not go to that plan. But this, when I think of that again, when I think of that time and how uncomfortable it was, I know that I'm able to start over anytime when I know it's the right time because I'm able to see the positive even in uncertainties, and uncomfortable situation. I'm not sure if I really understand answer to it. Yeah. that moment.
I
Yeah,
think you did though.
yeah, I can relate to that. And
Yeah.
for me, it was when I got laid off and making that decision not to go back to corporate America, and that uncertainty of, will we have enough money? Um, am I going to be actually be able to step in and be a good kind of caregiver liaison, because I don't do the hands-on caregiving. And it was a really scary time for me because I was only 55, and it's like, you're ingrained, you don't retire that at that age. You keep working at least until 65, 67. And so that was really a real scary time for me. I mean, and even now with the way the world is, the economy, it's still a little bit scary, but it's still, that's, I know it's the right thing to do. Michael and my mother-in-law need me more than corporate America ever did. And, you know, we just eat less, cheap, drink cheap wine,
Mhm.
and make the money work. But it's still a little bit frightening, but knowing it's the right thing to do.
All right.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So mine's is a little bit deep. When I think about starting over, was when I recognized it was time that I didn't want to be in that bad relationship anymore. Like I mentally had left a relationship. I had the final straw when my ex did a money manipulation thing, and I won't even go into that manipulation thing right now, but it was like the final straw. You know, when somebody do something, you're like, I couldn't even be in the same room as
Mhm.
literally it had gotten to that
Mm-hmm.
point.
Yeah.
It was terrifying to start over because I mean we were together from the time I was like 18. I was now in my 30s, and it's like
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't want at that point I didn't even want to see another relationship. I just wanted to like deal with me growing, learning to, like love me and not put myself into anything like that ever again. And as scary as that was, I didn't even know like how I was going to be able to afford to move away from him because I wasn't working for enough money at the time. And I had to like stay in the same house as him for a year. And that was a year of hell.
Mm-hmm.
As and I was naive enough to think that, we're in this big 4-bedroom house, he could live in, his part, I live in my part, and you share expenses and stuff. But he made it really uncomfortable. And I knew I had to leave. Like I literally knew I had to leave, and I knew that it would be scary, but I was ready. I was ready to live my life on
Mm-hmm.
my own terms, like literally. And when the day that I drove off and I was looking at the house in the rearview mirror of my car, I felt a sense of freedom, like
Mm-hmm.
true freedom. The freedom part was, the breaking up of the relationship. I felt freedom, but I was still there. I was still present. But the actual getting away from him, and then, the people that I interacted with, like the police officer, the constable, that really guided me.
Mm-hmm.
He was a godsend. He treated me like I was his daughter, and he was giving me advice. He actually gave me his personal number and said, "Call me anytime that you have a question, that anything happened between the two of you all, and I'll tell you how to deal with it." And because of that constable, I was able to like start to demand back the respect I never had from my ex. Starting over was hard. Sleeping in my car was harder, but it was the best thing for me, especially when I thought back of I'm sleeping in my car and I'm not under the same roof with him as him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yay! That's
Yeah.
what got me to
Yeah.
sleep. Because sometimes you'll rather be in a scary place than in an uncomfortable situation.
Mm-hmm.
There is
Oh.
like I felt like I was free, although I was in my car that night. I didn't have anybody talking down to me. I didn't have anybody calling, making me feel like I'm less than a person and, imprisoning me. I could do whatever I feel like and don't have to be, in that, what is this person going to do? What is this person going to say? And you're thinking for them, and no matter what you do, it's never right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So starting over from that relationship was really not easy. I went through a lot of stuff, but I'm so grateful. So
Yes.
grateful that I did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's it's amazing when you can look back, in the moment, you know,
Yeah.
you have no idea if you made the right decision. And when you look back, you just go, I'm so glad I trusted myself.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
the thing about, I think like a lot of people, we grow up hearing about faith and God and trusting, but do we really step out into the unknown to say that we're going to use faith, we're going to use God, and we're going to trust? And I feel like if a lot of women, we stay in these relationships
Hmm.
because we don't know what the uncomfortable, the unknown has. And if you will really use that so-called faith that you're supposed to have, you recognize that the world is such a beautiful place without that drama in your life.
Hmm.
Maybe use that drama to help somebody else to get out of theirs, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah, that question just brought back so much memories.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yep, it's completely fine.
Yeah. That's what we're here.
So I'll ask the next question. Why do we attach so much shame to starting over, especially as we get older?
Uh, I want to say I've been laid off twice at 51. Like they gave me a 4 day notice, and at 52, that was last year. And the second time around, the because I have arthritis on my hand,
Hmm.
and so you had to type and do something at a certain level, and
Hmm.
that's what I couldn't anymore because when it flared up, my hand hurt so badly. And at first, there was a shame because I'm like, first of all, I thought I would be retired at 40, you know? And now I'm 50. I'm starting over now. I'm unemployed. I'm broke. I don't have contract. And I have to start over. I should be far by now at 50. I should have my account full of, money and ready to settle down on, waiting for retirement. But then again, when you think about that, why shame, right? Was that a question, right, Vicky? What was the question?
Why do we attach
So much
so
shame
much?
to starting over, especially as we get older.
Because society told us that by a certain age we're supposed to achieve this, 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 and we're supposed to have
Yeah,
that, that, that. And
yeah,
then we put so much pressure on ourselves. Like I find that I was doing it with, like, I thought by now I'll be a certified accountant, but I didn't look for life to happen and different things to happen. And
Hmm.
I told myself the other day, I'm not a certified accountant yet because all those things happen because it was preparing me for a time like now. And I have the perfect time after all my stuff gets sorted to be able to consistently study. And now I actually have a study partner, so everything happens in the right timing, and we need to stop putting so much pressure on ourselves and stop putting age on things and telling and dunging ourselves like, oh, I'm like nearly 40. I am nearly 40. um and
Baby.
and I'm supposed to have this and that. I recognize that I'm so grateful that I've lived so far. I've achieved being this age because there's so many people that haven't even gotten near to being this age. And I'm glad that I'm in a position that I can still be able to go after goals. I still have something to do, and I'm not now trying to figure out, I did all that already. It's good because sometimes when we think that everything is supposed to happen like now, it's best when it happens later.
Hmm.
Yes,
yeah,
Hmm. Yeah, I kind of jump a little bit into, what Jazz was talking about, and then that, I stayed in at a company and doing jobs I didn't like because of that shame of starting over. You know, you're at a certain level, and if you start over, you go from here to here, and at 45, 59, 50, why am I starting over? What are people going to say if I go from, being a manager or being a director to I'm now answering phones, even though that might have made me a whole lot happier.
Yeah.
But that societal pressure of I'm supposed to be at a certain place by a certain time, making a certain amount of money, having a certain amount of stuff all around me. And we
Mm-hmm.
let that keep us from actually being our happiest.
Yeah, we're afraid to look like a failure,
Mm-hmm.
unconsciously, because it's that, as you said, what you said is all right. It's like, although there's a lot of job that, I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, my brain is gone, like,
Yeah, a
we would
long
be
time
so
ago.
happy
Yeah.
doing them,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep. A
But
long time ago,
because,
before AI, Walmart had greeters. I used to say,
yeah,
I'll sign up to be a greeter at Walmart. It's less pressure.
yeah, I know, exactly, exactly. But because our people look at you, so it's better to have a job. But I feel like I've let go of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
care, and I don't like even when people ask me, "What do you do?" You know, um,
I breathe.
I breathe exactly. I go
Yeah.
exactly, and when I know it's people that are like all about titles and all, I'm like I'm a cleaner. I'm because I did some cleaning sometime.
Mm-hmm.
I just did do something and I look at you like, huh?
Mm-hmm.
But recently, guys, somebody asked me, "What do you do?" And I said, "I'm a traveler or something." I was like, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
it shocked people because that's what society sees you. What you do is supposed to be
Yeah.
your worth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, like I'm up to the point where I'm doing what I love. And right now,
Mm.
yes, I want to be a certified accountant. What does that entail to me? I want to be a certified accountant. I don't know where. I'm just following and allowing. And if it feels good, I'll do it. If it doesn't, I'm walking away. Gone are the days of staying into things that don't serve my soul. If you don't serve my soul,
Mm.
I'm gone.
Mm-hmm.
Because ain't nobody killing my soul again.
I
Ever.
love that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
when I
really
remember I
love
was going through a tough time at work, and at the time I had a really good director, and she gave me a keychain that actually said, "Never let anybody dull your sparkle,"
that. Mm.
and I still have that
Oh,
keychain.
I love that.
wow. Yeah. Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. Is it my turn this
Yeah.
time to ask a question? All right. So, ladies, how do you trust yourself when you're stepping into the unknown?
For me, with my experience of stepping into the unknown, I'll say I don't plan. I don't plan what's going to happen. I just allow. That's when I really dive into like really meditating a lot because I believe that, let God, let source guide me. Tell me what to do in this because it's unknown. I don't know it. I don't know what to do. I don't know what I expect. Just guide me. You tell me what to do, and I'll answer high. You tell me how far to go, and I'll go and do it. You tell me no, and I'll say no.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think that sometimes why people get frustrated in unknown places is because they're trying to force everything. But you don't know the direction if it's unknown. Unknown means you don't know. So then that's when you have to dive into your higher power, your higher self, and let that spirit, that power guide you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me it's still a learning process for me because I stayed in so many things so long for way too long, and even though I started having those awakenings at 40, I still stayed. I didn't walk away until 55, and then I was kicked out and decided not to go back. So I'm still learning how to trust myself when stepping into the unknown because I stayed in comfort for so long, uncomfortably long, uncomfortably long.
Mhm.
And so it's just only been a couple of years. And so I'm still working through what all that is supposed to look like and feel like. But I can tell you, I'm never going to ever go back to comfort.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah. I want to bring it to travel. Um, because when you travel the world and go to unknown places all the time, you step into the unknown every time you step into a new country you haven't been into. And I
Mhm.
go far. I go to India by myself. I've been to Asia by myself. I've been to wherever, Australia, South Africa, name it, right? And every single time there's that fear. How do you trust yourself? The first time you do it, you don't. You scared like, you're gonna die, right?
Mhm.
Or it, but because I've done that so many times, I know that I'm able to do it, right?
Mhm.
And even when something uncomfortable comes through, I'm like, no matter what, there's always a solution, right?
Hmm.
And um, no matter what happened, and I agree with what you guys said also about like not trying to go against current and although it will always be like a learning because we're still growing all the time and evolving and all of that, but it kind of help you a lot trust yourself when
Mhm.
you're solo traveler because you step into the unknown all the time. In a new street, when you turn the corner, you don't know what's there,
Mhm.
right? So you kind of have to trust your senses that
Hmm.
that's a guidance in us, right? To
Mhm.
guide us that this something feels good or bad. So yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, that was very deep. All right, so at this moment, I have a question for the audience that I'm going to put on screen. So, where in your life are you being called to start over? And ladies, you are free to answer this if you want to. I don't know where in my life I've been called to start over. Only thing I could think of if you calls, but I am continuing more in my career path of accounting
Mhm.
than starting over, unless I call starting over my accounting channel. Start.
It is starting over. It's a new start.
For me, I
Yeah.
think it's you. This whole YouTube journey is like having me start over. It's like I started what I was doing, when I was working, just trying to tell people, hey, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? Have you thought about this? And when I was leaving, and those people wanted a way to still kind of connect with me, I created the blog because that was my comfort zone. This showing all of this on YouTube and having to hear my voice all the time, that's not what I wanted. And so having to start over, ditch the blog. I still have it. One of these days I'll probably pick up, start writing again. Um, but starting over and how I, try to reach people and help them not make the same mistakes as my family, finding new ways of putting that information together and package it and put it in a way that, one, it's not me scolding people, it's not me always being a naysayer. So I
Mhm.
just find that every single time I think about something to do on YouTube, I find it's calling me to start over.
Mm.
Well, we're grateful that you decide to trust your inner power to put yourself on screen because we learn from you. I do. I know
You
for
don't want
sure.
the cartoon avatar, you sure?
Absolutely.
We're very sure because I think too sometimes our biggest fears. So I know it's a fear.
Hmm.
It's scary, and our biggest fear is what we always think of. What if it fails? What if it's this?
Hmm.
And not recognizing that it's our calling. It's anything that you're not sure of, or that is like it feels so scary, but it's something that you kind of know in the back of your head you're supposed to do. Is that the universe is saying just do it. and
Hmm.
and when you really think about it, Vicky, like when you started putting your face on camera, you really started to open up. You really started to get more comfortable. You share all these personal stories about your family, and you connect your stories sometimes with people that you see that going through the same things. So that people could really understand the full story and the full scope of what you went through, and that you understand. And it's like it's such an eye opener. Because of you, I started to take my health serious, like literally, because you're always just talking about taking care of yourself and making sure you age on your own terms, and yeah, like
And also too, because I say it, I'm on camera. It's also holding me accountable to doing all the
mhm,
things that I've learned from what my family didn't do. Because it's one thing to, like you say, I think in my last video or a couple videos back, I said something about I have got to get so much better at taking the advice I dole out.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the things I had to do years ago. I started. I heard that voice in my head say, "You need to start taking your own advice."
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I'm unsure of anything, I always say, if this was a friend, what would you tell them? What would you do?
Mm-hmm.
The last question that I have is, what does reinventing look like for you in this season of your life?
For me,
Ooh.
it's trusting that I can do the hard stuff. I can do the uncomfortable stuff. And for me, when you can step into that, you're going to reinvent yourself every single time you accept it.
Jazz?
Uh, I think it's like really just accepting who I really am, the person that I know I'm inside, really, right? I don't think it's really reinventing myself. I think I always knew that person, like that I am, but I just did not know that she was allowed, she was okay to be and to exist. I didn't think I was enough to exist in that
Mhm.
world. So reinventing myself in this season is just being me,
Mm-hmm.
completely me, like, you know, and it feels good. Yeah.
Reinventing myself just means, like both y'all said, just being me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't like me, then move away from
Yeah,
me.
unapologetically.
Yeah, like this is
Unapologetic.
me. Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
going to be me and me. So, too bad for you. If you don't like me, then say bye to
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But
Exactly.
I'm not going to be apologizing to people for my attitude, for my personality, and shrinking myself for to fit into somebody's narrative to make that person feel like like a big person, or to boost their ego. I'm not doing that. I don't have to do that now in my current relationship with my current friends. I ain't doing it. And even before then, I ain't doing it. Because with all that I've been through, I feel like I've done it in the past. And that's something that I recognize, that you keep doing those things, you keep minimizing yourself, and you don't accept that you're valuable, that you're worthy and worth it, and that you are all that you think that you can do and be, that you are it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I lost my train of thought. I feel like if you don't, what we were talking about again? Reinventing ourselves, right? Ugh, I lost my train of thought. Lost my train of thought. But to end it off is like I feel like um not accepting and not just being 100% you, and minimizing yourself for people, those days are done. And if they're not done, like, watch one of us, one of these channels. I'm sure that Jazz is going to carry you in some unknown place that you're going to be like, where is she again? Like, what is
Coming up.
that? What is that place name? Is that on earth?
Wait a minute. I thought she was over there yesterday. Why is she over here today?
Correct. That I remember France, Vicky. When we
Yep.
thought that she was in the UK and she was in France. Crazy. The woman is always traveling.
Thank goodness for YouTube. YouTube helps us keep track of her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
you too,
does.
ladies. You too. You're moving all the time.
My husband has discovered he has a bucket list, and since he never wanted to travel the first 25 years of our marriage, he told me he gets the next 25 years of planning in the places he's taking me. So out of my comfort zone.
Oh, can't wait to hear about all the adventure you've been through.
Yeah. I think
I'm
probably
still here, so I can tell the story.
I think that's all part of reinventing too, like really experiencing things that we probably never thought we'll ever do. You know,
Yeah.
that's what stepping out of our comfort zone too could also be a part of reinventing as well.
Mhm.
Anyhow, all right. So, anything else, ladies, before I come to a closing?
No, I just want to say very, very thoughtful and insightful questions. I hate when I have to look at myself.
No, we're redoing that. So we're redoing that statement. Remember, we're talking up, Vicky.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Exactly.
I just said I hate when I have to look at myself. I'm doing it still. I just don't have to like it.
You have to love it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
I love looking at myself. I love figuring out all that I can blossom into.
Yes.
Nice.
And we love looking at you too. Actually, watching y'all today, I was like looking at y'all here, and I'm like, "Ugh, I really need to go back natural now. I need to grow back out this, like,
Okay, so I don't know about Jazz, but I'm natural because I'm lazy.
I can't do hair. Like I know how to braid and all of that.
mhm.
But I like easy. Like I don't have to do anything here.
So
Okay.
I don't. You can cut this out if you want to. So I used to wear my hair straightened and do all the good things for corporate America, and then perimenopause hit,
Mhm.
and my good friend Perry decided that I needed to sweat every night, and so it was so much more work doing my hair than wearing it in
Yeah.
braids. So the laziness factor kicked in. Natural it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
plan to.
natural is so easy. It's freedom. Natural is freedom.
I don't fully go natural because my hair is, let's say, different. I'm so mixed up. It's crazy. I've got the white, I've got the black, I don't know what's it, but here I've got so much parts of my hair. Like one
Do you
part is
dye your
white.
hair?
No,
No, she
I
meant
my
thought
hair
the
is
you have.
straight.
straightened. So if
She
I
meant the
do,
straight versus the curly versus the
yeah,
kinky.
Oh,
yeah.
sorry,
So my
sorry.
natural
Okay,
hair.
okay, okay.
So I do plan to change my hairstyle later this year. So I'm growing it out now. So that I texturize it to make it softer,
Mhm.
handleable, so that I can just like brush, bloop, 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 done. I don't do hair at all. That's why I make sure that I'm so happy that my in-laws are hair people. So when I get my girl child, they'll do the hair. I'll just say, oh, that's so pretty. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in closing, thank you, ladies, for being a part of this amazing session. I love talking to y'all. I always say these sessions, they don't. I always forget that we're recording. I just feel if I'm having a meeting with y'all and we're
It's
just,
true.
Yeah.
letting out my
Yeah.
soul. And doing these to also bring back a lot of memories, lots. In closing, if you're in a season of starting over, I hope you know that you're not late, you're not behind, and you're not broken. You are brave. Reinvention isn't failure; it's power, and it's allowed at any age, at any stage, and at any moment. This is your permission to begin again. Thank you, ladies. Thank everybody for joining us on this Bold Women's Table for another session. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
See you
Bye.
Bye.
next time. Bye, guys.